Hello fellow humans and welcome back to the Madhouse. It's me Josh, and as promised this week's video is a rant again, and it's topical. It's about, as you can tell from this whiteboard here, feminism. Last year Emma Watson sparked a debate on feminism and gender equality in her role as the United Nations ambassador and as in the He for She campaign. And it has been sparked again this year with Patricia Arquette's, please tell me that's how you say her name, acceptance speech for Best Actress in a Supporting Role in the Oscars a couple of days ago. And feminism is something that's incredibly important. She makes some very interesting points. I don't know if you've seen the video yet. I'll insert a link to it here because I'm not sure if I can insert the video without getting sued. But she talks about how members of other minorities, of the LGBTQIA+ community, and people of various ethnicities have to come together now to fight for women's rights, because there have been so much progress in other areas lately, but the women's rights movement has been rather overshadowed lately, and it's not right. Feminism is important. I mean, every time a woman stands up to talk about gender equality, there are many who say that this is great and a wonderful step in the right direction towards dealing with the problems, and use it to spur on the cause for gender equality. And then there are the others. People who say that feminism is unnecessary, that it is stupid, or that it is wrong, or that gender inequality is in fact the fault of the women. Now, when the people from the first group speak up, it restores some of my dwindling faith in humanity. But when people from the second group, the ones who think feminism shouldn't happen or doesn't need to happen, well, my dwindling faith shatters, and so too do any feelings of compassion towards them. I want to hunt them down and ram the truth into their thick skulls through their eyes. But enough on that, let's get back to being nice. There are a few things I want to say. Firstly, in regards to the people who say that feminism isn't necessary, the ones that annoy me so much, I used to be one of them. I used to think that feminism wasn't needed. As far as I could see, all of the women I knew were strong, intelligent and capable of anything they put their minds to. Well, almost anything. I've never seen any of them manage to turn into a fish, but if they do, I'd be very interested to hear about it. I mean, why were people campaigning for equality when it was obvious that the women all around me were equal to, or in some cases better than, the men at things they did? No. I'm an avid reader of practically anything. I like science fiction and fantasy, I like historical fiction, I like non-fiction books on philosophy, but I've never enjoyed Jane Austen. And Pride and Prejudice is, in my opinion, one of the most annoying books ever written. All of those women, the Bennets, subject to the desires of men. Their inheritance going to the nearest male relatives rather than to the actual daughters of the man who owned the house. And needing marriage just to ensure their survival. It drove me mad and I hated it. I wanted to see strong female characters like Hermione Granger from Harry Potter and Granny Weatherwax from the Discworld series. I know now that this is a form of sexism. There was no malice behind it, but it didn't change the fact that it was. I was attempting to dictate what women should and should not be. Now, obviously, women can be independent. But what about those who aren't or can't? Are they of less value than those who can? And when women are tough, are they more manly? Do they lose their femininity? No, of course not. If I am to call myself a feminist, I have to support all women, of all forms and all temperaments. Otherwise, I'm just blinkering myself to the truth. I'm blinkering myself to the issue and my own ignorance. Womanhood is constantly defined by others and women are judged by it. Until women are free to be whomever they want to be, without fear of rejection, retribution or discrimination, then feminism is needed. When women in the UK, a country where there have been laws preventing this for nearly 30 years, earn on average 9.4% less than men do, feminism is needed. While women must fear for their safety when just walking in the streets at night, feminism is needed. While women are judged on their looks before their brains, feminism is needed. I'll just finish off with a little clarification. Feminism, by definition, is the belief in the equality of the genders. It is not matriarchy, not the belief that women should be superior to men and that they should rule over them, because let's face it, patriarchy doesn't work particularly well. Why would matriarchy necessarily be any better? Now, obviously, the feminist movement is not flawless. There are some who do want a matriarchy, there are some who hate men, and there are some who don't include other genders. But that's something to be discussed another time. Their aim is flawless. Equality. That's it. Nothing more. I wish I had enough time to go into this right now, but the video would end up being an hour long and you'd get bored of it. I have far from covered everything about gender equality, how men should not be afraid to call themselves feminist, how they should not be afraid to have feelings and to be weak, as if weak is the right term for it, and how meninism is just fucking stupid. And of course, how to ensure that non-binary genders are not excluded either. I mean, I'm not sure how to touch upon it yet myself. I've got very little experience on the matter, but I am going to educate myself and I will talk about it because somebody has to. Ignorance is the cause of so much misunderstanding and hate in the world, and if we can try to fight that, we're making progress. But anyway, that's a subject for another day. I'll come back to it later. So thanks for watching. Click like if you believe that feminism is the right thing to do, or just click like anyway because it makes me happy. And subscribe too, because you'll get more really wonderful videos like this with me talking in a slightly high-pitched voice at half the greater speed. Next week will be another instalment in the Madhouse Library. If you're interested to know more specifics, it'll be about the Lord of the Rings, which should be fun. And that's it. Bye and have a nice day.